What are you doing today? This car needs to have the brake fluid flushed out of it. So we have this handy dandy cap that I think Bill Elder made this. You hook this up to the air pressure. It pressurizes the master cylinder. We would put alcohol in the master cylinder, open up the system somewhere, and blow until you get clear alcohol going through it. And then we just blow with air, which will dry all the alcohol. And we end up with something like that. And this would be the flexible tube that we put on the fitting, and we have that much cleaned out. I've seen things similar to this on eBay. Boy, I think these are just great. There are 3 rubber hoses in the fuel line. One goes from the sender to the line, then there's one right about in here on the stub frame, and then there's this one that runs to the fuel pump. This one has no flex left in it, so we're replacing it. This one was a particular fun one to get off because this little clip, which should look like that, it looked like that. Make Bob mad. This is our first attempt at starting the L. We've turned it over with the plugs out, circulated oil. It's got new oil and filter. We're running it off of the auxiliary tank. We don't even know if we got spark.
What?
We don't even know if we got spark.
I'm fishing you do. We'll know in a second.
Fire extinguisher right there to the...
Got the fire extinguisher? Got spark.
That's the fuel filter saying.
It has fuel.
Look at it. He's even got the outlet. Our battery terminal's not very good. Boy, that's nice and quiet. No lifter noise. Alternator shows charge, and she shows cold because she is. Okay. Hasn't been running for like 15 years, so. And the heat riser's loose. Okay. Here's the one that came off. Yeah, it's pretty gruesome. Yeah, it looks like, I think this side. Oh, yeah. We had a little leaker there. So, no question, they had to come off. The rears are easier to change. So, that's as far as we get today. Yeah. You know, I just noticed something. There are no self-adjusters on this. This is the driver front. Here's the driver rear, which I haven't touched. And there's no self-adjusters. See, that's what we're supposed to have. Front. Whoop, where'd it go? Rear. So we're getting ready to swap out the wheel cylinder. And on the front brakes. Hold on. The wheel cylinder is held on by there. See that? That's a 1/2 inch. It's right below where the brake hose fits. If you remove the brake hose, you can get a wrench on there. And what about the back one? There, you can see it. That one's pretty easy to get at. So, those 2 screws, and then you can remove the wheel cylinder. Well, let's see what kind of horribleness might await us inside this wheel cylinder. Yeah. Pretty cruddy junk. How about the other side? Like it makes a difference. Yeah. And there we are with the new wheel cylinder installed. Those 2 little nuts in the back can be a little difficult. I like to use the stubby wrenches. Moving on, this is the passenger side rear wheel. Something we don't very often see. The retaining clips. So, and the way you get them off is just to spin them off. And there they are. And of course, for installation, you just push them and they just zip on. Their only purpose is to hold the drum before the wheel goes on. These things are normally never found. You know, these handy lights here, really nice. This one's got a magnetic base. Most of them do. So you can clip it on things. But I'll tell you, I can't tell you how many times I'm looking for a missing nut or lock washer or something, and I find it's on the magnetic base. One of those things. Now I have to remember, check your flashlight for your missing parts. Urgh. What are you doing today, Bob? I'm not happy with the alignment of the K front bumper, particularly on this side. It's got a droop. It's pretty common to see this on Ks. Just when you put the bumper back on, you need to put shims in the top of the braces, and that will twist the bumper up into proper position. So for no particular reason, I'm going to do that today. You're going to need your big wrenches. The bolts are 7/8. There's 2 here, 2 here. We're talking about the bolts that go from the fender braces to the body frame. And we're going to loosen them and then put shims, and that will give us the angle on the bumper. So this took about 15 minutes, and that bumper there has just the right angle. You also want to check the front of the bumper to make sure you haven't changed the vertical alignment. And there you go. Because you don't know what thickness shim you're going to need, we just grabbed some washers. These are 3/16 in thick, and I've got some 8s. And by putting them in, clamping them down, we learned what we need, and then we'll replace these with proper bumper shims now that we know the thickness. Quick and easy. Align that bumper. I was talking about where we put the shims, and we put it at the interface of the bumper bracket and the frame. So here's a 62 that I just happen to have. And you can see where the frame and these, the bumper bracket bolts go through here and here. So we would lay the shim in this area, bolt the 2 of them back up. If we wanted to tilt the other way, of course, we would just shim the lower side. But this is the place where you want to put the shims, not necessarily between the bumper brackets and the bumper. This is much more solid.